Rangers' new boss, Danny Rohl, has got some serial problems after it was all brand. It was Acropolis now for Jimmy Keeling in Aberdeen and Athens. But at least Brendan Rodgers and Celtic were smoking grats, so to speak. What a week it's been to be a Scottish football manager, Gav. Welcome to Game On, Record Sports Hot Take Podcast. I'm Gavin and Gavin Berry. How are you, Gav?
Hi, Michael. Good.
Well, it's been some week, hasn't it? Again,
as you can be. It could have been worse.
Yeah, we keep saying it's been a wild week of Scottish football, but it seems to be that's the case every single week. Anyway, we're going to tackle the big issues as always, and never mind a serial pun. All brand. We've had our Weetabix, haven't we, Gav?
Oh yes.
Let's kick off with Rangers' new manager, Danny Rohl. A headline writer's dream, isn't he? Doing this, Danny Rohl, but Danny Rohl.
I know that's it.
So I was thinking that it's a bit of a nightmare of it. If it doesn't go well, it'll be a well-fired role at the end of the in a few weeks' time. So he's not got the start he would have wanted. But listen, I don't think anyone's going to hold him responsible for the shambles in Norway.
No.
But in general, the appointment, we know it was a bit kind of convoluted the way they got there. A wee bit messy for the fortnight. But is Danny Rohl, is he a master stroke or a major gamble?
Well, I mean, right now, major gamble. There's nothing on his CV to suggest that he should be Rangers manager.
Well, apart from Bayern Munich and Germany and all these things.
Assistant manager. Listen, he's been around big clubs. A big club.
He's been around. Was he kind of hamper?
Sorry. Been around big club, Bayern Munich, German national team, of course. He was at Leipzig. But there's a difference between being an assistant manager, coach, at these clubs and being manager of Rangers Football Club. He's had one senior managerial role at Sheffield Wednesday, as we know. Again, he was fighting fires there, did well under the circumstances. But that his CV does not scream Rangers manager. He may well end up being a master stroke, but I don't think you can say that at this stage.
I think it's a really interesting appointment, but I think it's a sunny day appointment, which I mean, I think if Rangers had a manager who'd won a double or a treble or been successful and then left to go to another club, being poached by a Premier League team or something like that, and you come into a good setup that's a good structure and behind the scenes is all working well, I think it'd be a really innovative into his appointment. You ask the guy to come in and fight fires right from the off. He's 36 years old. By all accounts, he's a top coach, but the ability to coach is only a fraction of what is needed at Rangers. It's the politician role. It's the dealing with the constant pressure from the stands, from the media, from supporter media, all these things that make it a really tough task. Plenty of experienced managers in that position and went loopy. Philip Clement was a very serious, successful manager, ended up in the can in the press room. It's a difficult job for any experienced manager. For a guy at 36 who hasn't had this level of exposure, it's a big. I think it's a big gamble.
You talk about a sunny day appointment. I mean, if you think of Celtic when they appointed Ronnie Dyler, Celtic fans were kind of up in arms at the time. Celtic had the luxury. Rangers were out of the league and thought, well, we can get away with this here. They almost didn't actually when Aberdeen ran them close, although they won comfortably. But they were able to do that then because they knew the risk was relatively low.
It was less of a gamble. They'd won 4 titles in the bounce and all that stuff. And it was less of a gamble. Okay. Exactly.
So let me ask you then, Michael, what does success look like for Danny Rohl this season?
Right now, avoiding relegation right now, the way it looks like. I mean, listen, to be serious, he's got a heck of a job on his hand. I mean, we've seen the game out in Norway. I think that was even more worrying. I think he'll know the size of the task. He'll watch the games and thought this is a team that's got problems. I think the big issue the other night was that's the first game under a new manager, and you can try and go back to basics and try and get players to defend and structure it. He only did a one training session, really, a meet and greet and a training session, so it was going to be difficult, right? What I thought was a more worrying fact was that there wasn't really the desire and the kind of intensity and appetite to really go and impress the manager.
No.
I mean, it might be that it's just that Rangers are so vulnerable right now, but how he gets that is going to be... Because I think there's players in that team that on their day came decent, but the attitude to me looked really worrying.
But is that not what we know about this group of players? I mean, they've let down so many managers,
Well, no, but this is a Rangers team that in the previous years have managed to raise their game and beat teams in Europe and beat Celtic.
Yeah.
You even go back last year, it was I know there was shockers like St Mirren and Queen's Park and all that stuff, but they still had good European performances. Fenerbahce under Barry Ferguson as well. The team wasn't that far away. I mean, I think it had vulnerabilities and it had mentality issues, but the Rangers somehow managed to go and spend 35 million quid and get worse.
Yeah.
So I think he's got. I think if he can get Rangers competitive and in and around the top 2 and 3 and going far in the cups and maybe get a cup.
Yeah.
I just think it's difficult for him. It's going to be difficult for him.
Short-term success, to be honest, Michael, is just getting fans back on side, giving fans a bit of hope.
Yeah.
Putting on performances that, give a glimpse of a brighter future. The things they didn't see under Russell Martin, the expectations, and this is where he is probably quite fortunate, is that the expectations are so low. And all the anger is being directed towards the owners and guys like Chief Executive Patrick Stewart and the Sport Director Kevin Thelwell, that he can almost get away with it, unless he does a Russell Martin, unless it was Russell Martin proportions.
Yeah. If he can beat Celtic in the League Cup and get hands on a trophy, win the final, and that buys him a bit of time.
That's beyond
that would buy him time to build. We saw it under come on, and that helped feed into the league season. But he's got so much work to do.
Yeah.
I see you're right. Try and see some signs. Get that team fighting for each other again, because at the moment, I don't know. It looks like a team that's not got it in them.
Yeah. And unveiling Danny Rohl earlier in the week, Michael, the Rangers hierarchy had to face the music for the first time, meeting the media at the press conference. Andrew Kavanagh standing by Patrick Stewart and Kevin Thelwell. We saw some more unsavoury scenes at Bergen Airport before the team were flying home on Thursday night. A few punters having a go at the pair of them again. I mean, do you think Andrew Kavanagh was right to stand by these two? They're firmly in the firing line.
I think it's now at the stage that these two, for whatever reasons, are now in a position that they're actually become so toxic that it actually, I think time is up for them. I really do. I think it's now too far gone, because as we touched on in the previous question, that they somehow have managed to take a big pot of money. I mean, Andrew Kavanagh and his 49er pals have given them a big pot of money, and they've made the club far worse than they were. And they weren't at a great starting point. No. I mean, this thing. So they haven't done their job. If Russell Martin's paying the price for not doing his job, these guys have to pay the price for not doing their job. I think it's too far gone. They've become such a problem now that the supporters have completely lost faith in them. I mean, Kevin Thelwell is the kind of sporting director kind of role. He's been in charge of recruitment. There's the whole thing with the appointing his son and then defending it last week. Not the most convincing. No. You look at the signings. Some guys that are completely out their depth at Rangers, unequipped for the job.
They've effectively swapped Chermiti for Igaman.
Dessers and Igaman. Took Dessers and Igaman and replaced them with Chermiti and Miovski. Miovski will get goals, but I don't think he's as good as they two. And spent a guts of £12 million in the two of them.
It's crazy. The only thing is, I did expect Andrew Kavanagh to say what he said. I think what he's saying in public and what he's thinking privately might be two different things.
Yes.
I also understand he's binned Russell Martin, which is a big decision in itself. I think to then sack the chief executive and the sporting director all at once, I don't think the owners were ever going to do that. I think the manager's one's fine. He could leave the other two in position, even if he thinks they're not up to the job, and look to replace them further down the line.
Yeah,
but if you rip if you took out, you're taking out the entire club structure there, hierarchy.
Yeah, but he's trusting these guys to run the show, and they made an absolute circus of it.
But what I mean is, if you take all three out at once,
but you're now looking at having the job required to repair the damage that they've done. So are you trusting the same guys that caused the damage to repair the damage?
Well,
so I don't think you can. I think you've got to empty it out and start again. And it's been a false start for the new owners. This was not the vision that they had coming in. And it's because of the guys that run steering the ship. Yeah. They've smashed into the rocks. Now you can't trust the same guys to do the repair jobs.
But if you were to sack Russell Martin, Patrick Stewart, and Kevin Thelwell at once, I mean, how do you then find a new manager? You've still got to.
Well, you find more qualified and skilled operators. That's like any business.
You would have to put Barry Ferguson or an interim
The same
management
rule-
team
the
in
same
it
rule-
to buy you time then,
Well,
because
they've got a manager and coaching staff now. They just need a CEO and director of football.
yeah, but who would have appointed Rule if it was to
Well,
sack Patrick Stewart and Kevin Thelwell? I mean, whose decision? Who then picks the manager?
Well, the manager's already there, so they need picked. They've got a manager.
Ah, but you were saying you wouldn't have allowed them to pick.
No, but I think no, we're talking now. I'm talking from this point
Oh,
onwards
from this
now.
point on, sorry, right, okay.
I think they've got so much.
Right, okay.
The
Then
repair job is so huge. I think you
Sorry.
can't trust me to do it.
Sorry.
So
Okay.
I think he wasn't right to keep the faith then.
Right.
He's certainly not now.
Not now. Okay.
No. Listen, we'll flip it across to the other side of the city.
Okay.
After Dundee last Sunday, Celtic were absolutely abject,
Yeah.
dismal at Dens.
Mhm.
There's a wee bit of watershed moment. Some people were starting to question manager Brendan Rodgers. I think he might have redeemed himself a lot with it. I thought the work he did against Sturm Graz all night was quite impressive, actually, with what was going on.
Mhm.
I mean, in a situation, though, that Rodgers said he'll stay to the end of the season,
Yeah.
could that be taken out of his hands? Can you see a situation where Rodgers departs Celtic before the end of the season?
I can see a mutual agreement type statement coming at some point.
During the season?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's going to get to the stage. I mean, you're right. When they were losing to Sturm Graz, I mean, had they lost that, and then obviously there's this big Hearts game coming on Sunday, and then the Rangers semi-final, which we spoke about. You know, I mean, if the season really, if it ended up looking like it's going to be a bit of a catastrophe, I think a bit like in the Neil Lennon COVID season, which people are making comparisons to.
Yeah.
I think you would have to, at some point, just say, right, you know, Brendan Rodgers is moving on. But I also think with the Celtic AGM coming up, you know, I know a date's not been announced for that yet. I think it could be that's the occasion. They maybe say, okay, we've made our minds up. Let the shareholders know they'll be moving on at the end of the season. I think that could be the time. Well, look, how long do you give it, Michael? These contracts up at the end of the season. You know, we're in October.
It kind of blows my mind that Celtic's hierarchy, and a lot of fans now as well are thinking, you know what? I think sometimes familiarity breeds contempt, and a lot of Celtic fans will maybe think, you know what? It's probably time to cheery almost like that. They want something fresh and shiny.
Yeah.
I think all these things are crazy. Celtic are not going to get a better manager than Brendan Rodgers, right? Brendan Rodgers has been an incredible success, and it's taken for granted that people go, he's up against nothing, right?
Yeah.
Rangers had a European finalist and big money, and Celtic under Rodgers has made it look easier. He also has not had it easy in terms of the recruitment's been so bad at Celtic. He's the one in spite of a lot of things. Listen, I think he's part of an issue sometimes when it comes to recruitment.
Yeah.
But to let a manager like that, 800 odd games as a manager, success everywhere he's been, let him walk out the door.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's mind-blowing.
But there was this claim from the mystery club outsider about him engineering.
But why? His contract up, he can walk away. He doesn't want to quit, right?
Maybe he is. Maybe it is. Maybe he doesn't want to be there.
Well, his contract's up anyway, so he's not going to be there. He doesn't have to be there. He doesn't have to sign a new contract. He can shake hands in the season and go. So why would they have to engineer his exit when he's already made an exit? As it stands, his exit's coming.
Yeah.
The door's there. It's in 9 months' time or 8 months' time, the door's there.
Yeah.
So he doesn't have to create a situation of absolute chaos to get himself the sack to engineer his exit. Is that people are thinking he wants to get sacked? He's not going to master. He's on last year in his contract, so it's not a 4-year deal paid out.
But maybe he doesn't want
doesn't need the money.
But maybe it does. Maybe he doesn't want it to look like he's the one who's deciding to leave.
Well, that's what's going to happen at the end of the season anyway. Because he said, "I'd rather stay." If that's my ambition, which is a bit cute.
Well, exactly. So
he'll done his time and he'll go. I suspect.
So maybe that's why he's caused.
But I think he wants to go. I don't think he wants to go by getting sacked. I mean, he wants to come back to repair his legacy.
But he didn't know. He didn't know.
Yeah,
he didn't know it was going to go like this.
Come back to repair his name. He didn't want to get sacked by Celtic. I mean, I doesn't want to be a sacked Celtic manager. So it's not in his favour to get himself engineered his exit by getting the bullet. He wants to go out. He wants to win a treble and walk out like that and say, "I'm going to go back to Mallorca for a few months. Thanks for having me. Enjoy your treble up the road."
Yeah.
Going to the books as the second most successful manager in the club's history.
Yeah.
So I think it's lunacy. I think Celtic need to come to their senses and get this guy back on board and get him on a new contract, the whole lot. And I think Celtic fans need to realise what they've got as well, because some people, be careful what you wish for.
Yeah.
Because what he's done is taken for granted, and I think people don't quite understand how difficult it actually is.
Yeah. Well, this Sunday will go a long way to deciding how this season might go for Celtic. Hearts at Tynecastle, huge. Any actual injured taken off in the Sturm Graz game. Johnny Kenny looks like replaced him. Could be the man. Well,
need to be.
No, maybe not. It could be other options, but we'll get to them in a minute. But can he step up and be the main man?
He'll have to be. That's what I'm saying. He'll have to be because they don't have anyone else.
What about Shen Yamada?
Well, Shen Yamada is going to have to come into the squad now.
Yeah, but he's not even in the Europa League squad, is he?
So domestically, they'll have to have him in the squad. Maybe Callum Osmond's another one.
But you can't start Shen Yamada, no?
No, I know. He's played about 3 minutes all season.
But let me ask you this: then, should he be in contention then for a start? £1.5 million for a 4-year contract. I mean, why? Why is he not?
Well, that's the thing. I mean, Ben Rodgers looking at him in training and obviously thinking he doesn't fancy him. I mean, I think there's a lot of politics involved in terms of the way he came in, and I don't think there was a confusion about was he a club signing or Rodgers signing. Obviously, the club had scouted him and fancied him, and Rodgers said, "We'll have a look at." He said, "We'll have a look at him and see how he goes." He'll either be a development player or a first team player. At the moment, he's a development player. He's not in the squads. Clearly, not doing it in training. He's going to have to because now and the actual could be out for a few weeks. Listen, it all goes back to the disastrous summer transfer window for Celtic. I mean, not just first time round had Moussa Dembele, Odsonne Edouard, and Lee Griffiths fighting for 2 spots. There's the 3 of them, right? A ballad of goals between these guys. Now he's got Eniacho, who hadn't played much in the last couple of years. Inevitably was going to break down after playing 6 weeks solid. Breaks down. Now he's got Johnny Kenny, who's played most of his career in the League of Ireland. Played 9 months for Celtic, the bit part player, with 37 minutes this season until the other night.
He's 22 as well. He's not that young.
Scored 2 goals. Listen, he was keen as mustard the other night, run about, put in good positions, didn't take them because he's not an elite level striker. There's Dyson Maid who's injured, who could play up front, who'll need to play up front, I think, when he gets back fit. And Yamada, who's going to have to be now on the bench, and he's going to have to step up and show. But again, scored 2 goals in 20 odd games last season in Japan. Not exactly a good season year before, but not exactly a track record of being a prolific frontman. Celtic to get in this state is actually quite embarrassing. To be sitting with 80 million quid in the bank, and that is our striker options. I mean, it's incredible. And listen, the Graz game was a big morale win for them as well. But to win a league, you need to have a 30 goals a season striker, a 20 goal a season backup striker, 2 15 goals a season wingers, and a 10 goal midfield player. Where are they in this Celtic squad? Where are the guys getting those 60, 70 goals that win your league? By the way, Rodgers is going to have to earn his corner this season to do that, because he's not got that. He's not got those numbers. The maths. I mean, we're talking about Tony Bloom's algorithms. Celtic's maths are not adding up right now. So as good a result as that was the other night, and the good performance as it was, I think they're still got the same problems. And Johnny Kenny up being on the main man up front, no harm to the lads, is one of the problems they're going to have.
So all of this points to it being a good time for Hearts flying out at the top of the league to be facing Celtic. But is it really a good time to be facing them?
Without Dyson Maida, Alistair Johnson, Eniacho, Cameron Carter-Vickers, and as I mentioned, barely a striker to the name, no right winger. Of course, it's a good time to play Celtic.
But what I mean by that is full time at Danes Park on Sunday, Michael. Obviously, Hearts convincing when it come on 24 hours earlier, top of the league, 5 clear. This is the time to play Celtic. Then as the week goes on, and you see it all the time. I've seen it, when non-old firm teams have made a kind of good start. But by the end of the week, it's like, well, because now the pressure it changes, the psychology changes. Suddenly, Hearts are now faced with the team who are under favourites tag. Are they going to be favourites?
Well, that's the thing. People are now saying that Hearts
should be favourites. So, but it changes a bit because Celtic, for all their struggles just now with personnel and injury problems, Celtic and Rangers, when they used to win titles, they still have that mentality that non-old firm clubs don't have.
I get it. I don't get the fact. I don't get that Hearts are favourite, because you look at Celtic against Graz, who are top of the Austrian Bundesliga, and by the way, Celtic gave them a spanking. If Celtic had anything up top, it'd been 3-4. I mean, as you know, I'm a very modern analyst when it comes to the game. Celtic XG. Expected goals was higher than it's been in against any game since St Johnstone last season. It was like 4 points something, and Graz were under 1, so it should have been a 4-0 game. They scored a worldie, so it should have been 4-0 game against a decent opposition. So Celtic thumped them. Thumped Graz. So they have got it in them, despite the gaps in their squad, to do that. So I think Celtic are still a force. What I think psychological though, if Hearts don't get a result against Celtic and they lose to this team with so many problems, so many injuries, I think that is in terms of the kind of belief in this kind of Hearts title challenge, would take some thumping. It would take a major hit, not just in the stands, but in the squad itself. I think their belief would be shaken. I think at the moment there is this kind of belief, a quiet belief that they can go and see it out. I think if it didn't beat Celtic this weekend, that takes a hit. It takes a major hit. And I've heard people say it's a free hit for Hearts. They've got a 5-point lead. They get beat. It doesn't really matter.
No.
I don't think it is. I think psychologically, if Hearts lose at Tynecastle, I think the whole narrative about their title challenge takes a beating, because Celtic will never be as vulnerable as they are this weekend.
Hearts have got what chance? Full house.
If you can't beat Celtic at their worst, what chance are they going to have against them at their best?
Yeah.
So I think that, weirdly, I think it's almost a must-win for Hearts rather than Celtic, despite the gap. And that, I mean, that sounds weird.
And that's why I was saying that to you.
Yeah.
Celtic, of course, did give us a bit of a coefficient boost because we were facing a catastrophe. 6-0 defeat for Aberdeen in Athens, the worst ever defeat for Aberdeen in Europe. Rangers, as we've touched on, defeating Norway. But Celtic, even despite that win, did you think Scottish teams are still heading for a wipeout?
It doesn't look good, does it? No. It doesn't look good. It's funny because we're doing a kind of a plan for the week for the show and all that stuff. One of the questions might have been, have Aberdeen finally turned the corner? Yeah, right into a brick wall. Rangers, I think, up against it. I mean, who have they got left to play against? I mean, they've got Porto, Roma, Ferencváros away,
flying high under Robbie Keane,
Braga, and Ludogorets, is it?
Ludogorets.
So the Rangers need to win.
Roma at home.
Roma at home. I mean, Rangers need to win 4 out of 5 now.
The Rangers are going.
So they're done. Yeah. I mean, I can't see it. Can you get relegated from this? No. Aberdeen. I mean, I can't see. I mean, rooted bottom to the conference.
And Rangers. This is the one time you wish that cliche wasn't true. Does the league table lie?
Yeah.
When I was looking at the league table, Aberdeen in the conference league. You've got Lincoln Red Imps even they won a game.
Don't
Gibraltar. It's just, and you've got Rangers down there. I mean, Aberdeen and Rangers both at a point. At least for Aberdeen, they've only played 2 games. Rangers played 3.
Yeah,
they can cling on to that.
Well, Aberdeen have only got 6 games as well, so they've got even less margin for error.
But it's awful.
It's not great. It's not great. I mean, I think Celtic are also. I mean, the Braga result at home is massively damaging for them.
Yeah, right.
They've got 2 tough away games: Midtjylland and Feyenoord and Rotterdam. They've got to take 3-4 points from these 2 games, I think.
Is Bologna not away, is it?
That's not. It's after the new year, isn't it?
Oh, sorry, yeah, but it's away.
The next 2 games, I think they've got 4 points. They need to get to 11, 12.
Yeah. Well, Utrecht at home, so let's assume they win that because they're going to have to win that. So that would put them on 7.
7. So still need to find 5 points from Roma, Feyenoord,
Midtjylland,
and Bologna.
Tough. Yeah,
it's tough. I think they need to go to Midtjylland and win now.
They're top of the table, aren't they?
Yeah.
They're top of the table, I think, with 9 points.
So I think they need to go to Midtjylland, the form team in the competition.
Yeah.
They need to go there and win. They need to try and avoid defeat in Rotterdam, and they need to get a result somewhere, a draw or something against Roma at home. I think Celtic are up against. I think the Braga result is seriously put them behind, because you need to win 3 out of 4 at home and pick up a result somewhere away from home. So Celtic need to do something special. I don't think this current squad has got it in them, to be honest. I think that, as I mentioned earlier, I thought the performance the other night was really good against Graz. But tougher tests are lying wait. Finals a tricky one. It's been to keep. It's a tough one. I mean, it's a tough one.
It's raw meat. It's
one of the best atmospheres in Europe. It's absolutely sensational. They do a kind of pre-match kind of rave for an hour before the game. It's for an old timer, an old raver like myself. It was brilliant. But anyway, we're digressing. The whistle's going on.
I thought you were more of an Amsterdam man. No, you're Amsterdam.
No. These days I'm more of a kind of what do you call it? Andreas Bocelli and Perry Como relaxing and stuff like that. Back in the day, it was the old rave stuff. But what are we talking about here, Gav? Anyway, listen. Poor managers again, right? Ange Postecoglou lasting about a fortnight. Danny Lennon at Airdrie getting walloped after about 30 odd days, 8 games in charge. Russell Martin getting a handful of games. Why is it that clubs can change their manager during the season, but they can't change the players? The transfer windows apply to players only. Should clubs be locked into managers in the same way they're locked into player squads during the transfer windows.
During the windows, I think, yeah.
Yeah.
Just when you asked me that question earlier,
Did you wonder what was going on about?
I did wonder what you were going on about. I wondered where you were going with it, but
Yeah.
it's good. And we were talking earlier here about Rangers and Andrew Kavanagh, Kevin Thelwell, Patrick Stewart, how they've blundered, in making the key decisions. They certainly blundered with the appointment of Russell Martin. So why should they not be made to stick with Russell Martin?
Yeah, make your bed.
They hired Russell Martin in the summer. They took over Rangers, big investment, a lot of money. That's the guy they picked. When it goes wrong, why should they ever get out? Why,
No.
just make them say. But well, could you imagine how toxic Ivers would be if they were made to stick with Russell Martin?
No, I think it would take
because they know
some of this heat out of the managers. Because what will happen is, we're stuck with this guy to January. So
we need to.
So there's no point in hurling abuse at the guy for 6 months to get hounding the guy at the door because we can't do it into January.
Yeah.
I think it might take that. I mean, it's the sacked in the morning thing.
Yeah.
I don't think it's beneficial. I think clubs now, it's the easy option. Bump the manager. You're stuck with the players for the rest of the time before the window opens again.
Yeah.
I think. Plus, it also insulates teams because if your manager's doing quite well. I mean, people were talking about it the last few weeks about Derek McInnes at Hearts, off to a flying start. So Rangers, if they had any actual sense, would have been like, we'll just go and take that guy. There's the money there. We'll go and take him. I'm not saying it's going to be that easy, but in theory, in the Hearts are going, we've lost our manager. You're doing well.
Yeah.
So you're punished. So the guy if you're doing well, you can get punished.
Yeah.
And if you're doing badly, you can get rewarded because you can go and get a new guy.
Yeah, you're right.
So I think you should be stuck to the guy. Same employment law should apply across the board. You pick a manager, you're stuck with that guy for 6 months at least.
Yeah.
And it means that you can't sack a manager in 6 months.
Yeah.
Which I think a manager's getting 8 games.
Yeah.
I mean, Big Ange at Nottingham Forest. I mean, ridiculous.
Yeah.
I mean, Airdrie, it seems to be a different situation. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Ridiculous. The guy's getting it. Russell Martin to an extent as well. I know it was going badly, but that's your guy. Make your bed and lie in it.
You're right. I saw it down south when Oliver Glasner was linked to Man U when they were talking about getting rid of Amorim. I think, well, why should in part that Crystal Palace fans are sweating because they think they're going to lose their manager. Man U are going to come and take him away. But you're right. Why should Man U have that luxury?
So teams that are shambles are getting rewarded, and teams that are doing successful can get punished. Managers aren't getting time to do the job properly, and fans can cover heads from minute one. No, I think they should be locked in for 6 months, and then if their hope was to get bumped in.
One manager who might not want to be locked in is John Rankin at Hamilton after they were hit. He sees his team go from first to sixth after they were hit by the SPFL. Should the authorities be helping Hamilton Accies rather than hammering them, given the crisis that they're in?
Listen, they're lucky. I mean, let's be honest. The kind of the breaches this time, they're probably lucky. This is the damage have been hit.
I was going to say 6 points was lenient.
That's what I'm saying. I think they've been lucky. I think they've been lucky that I mean, lucky they've been thrown out the league.
Yeah, you can't let clubs off just out of sympathy, can you?
No, but what I think the wider point, I think, they can't. I mean, Hamilton Accies are a basket case. I mean, they've now got a situation they're not actually playing in Hamilton.
But as usual, it's the good people that suffer.
It's
the manager,
fans.
The players, the fans,
managers, players, and the fans,
the staff, all because of rogue owners.
Yeah, this is one of our old established clubs and all that stuff. It's a shame to see. It's actually quite sad to see what's happening to them. So what the wider point is, I think that we could do more. I think to help our teams that are falling. Let me try. Listen, I think there's legislation now on kind of fit and proper tests and all that stuff. It's nowhere near stringent enough. Nowhere near. There's too many of our clubs now that are being left to be run by
charlatans.
Bad faith actors, I think is the phrase these days. Charlatans is probably that's probably a more blunt way to put it.
Let's cut to the chase.
Yeah, let's cut to the chase. But and it's a shame because these are institutions. They're not. Our clubs aren't just a business. It's a part of a town, part of a city, part of a culture. We need to find a way to kind of protect these things. I mean,
do you fear for the future of Hamilton? I mean, never mind the 6 points. I mean, £22,000 fine. I mean, it might not seem like huge amounts, but it is.
Yeah, it is. But they need to get the bottom. I mean, their home is a big problem, obviously as well. Well, I mean, they've had to relocate. That's a nightmare. But we've seen it. Dumbarton have hit issues. Inverness. we're seeing too many clubs that are hitting serious problems, and we're going to. We're very close to losing a club completely.
Yeah.
A name like these were mentioned. We've seen it happen to Gretna, but Gretna were slightly a false situation.
Yeah.
Steady on before people start saying Rangers and all that stuff. There'll be comments, Gav.
Whistle. Did you not hear that whistle?
There'll be comments. There'll be comments.
Did you not hear that whistle?
There'll be comments. It's it's like. But I just think they've got off maybe a bit lightly this time, Hamilton. But I would like to see the authorities having some sort of stronger framework to try and protect our clubs.
Anyway, that fine is a drop in the ocean to your wages at the record, Mick. Okay, and it's payday. Why are you laughing at?
Maybe that'll be right.
It's a drop in the ocean.
I get paid in biscuits these days,
and it is payday. So I want you to look at. Sorry, did your wife not?
I want to have a wife for a day, right?
No. So let's look across all the sporting events taking place this weekend. And what are you going to stick a few shekels on?
Well, I like my boxing.
Give us a bit.
I like my boxing, Gav. Got a nice big tasty heavyweight contest this weekend.
Okay.
Joseph Parker and Fabio Wardley, the British contender. I think it's a good fight. I like the look of it. Joseph Parker's been in brilliant form of it. Parker for a while was a kind of go-to guy for kind of certain stables to go and fight against the big guys and get beat and put up a good contest and all that stuff. And he's also won a world title before. But he seems to have kind of come back and really hit. I mean, he obviously he's hit a real bit of form. He beat last time out Martin Bicoli, adopted Scott, albeit Bicoli took it at an hour's notice and was a bit out of shape. But yeah, I think it's a good contest. Fabio Wardley, this is his big test. So unbeaten, 19 wins, 18 knockouts. So I'm going to go for a wee outside bet. I'm going to say Wardley to knock out Parker. 71.
Well,
Parker's a big favourite, right?
Right.
I think he's on form. Parker, he's a level above Wardley. This is his first test, but he's a knockout Merson Wardley. If he can get one in the button, if Big Wardley hits you, you're staying down. So I'm going to go a wee outside fiver on Wardley. Knock him out.
That's good. I'm liking that odds because I don't want odds on.
No, I'm trying to find you a wee nugget.
Well, I've got you a 91 bet. So
91.
91. So Sunday is a day for the couch. Hearts Celtic we spoke about is a cracker, and then shortly after that is the first El Clasico of the season.
Right,
Real Madrid, Barcelona. Both teams
actually. They don't play a few weeks ago, but they play all the time, don't they?
I know. Both started fairly well. 4 wins in their last 5 games at the Bernabeu. I'm going to go.
Is it the Bernabeu? Right. Aye. Okay. No, Barcelona. It's not in Barcelona.
Do you think it's in the Camp?
No, New Camp's out of commission, isn't it?
I'm sure
it's the Bernabeu. Sorry,
it's definitely the Bernabeu, and I'm going to go for correct score: Real Madrid 2, Barcelona 1, 91.
Good. I like
Madrid don't concede a lot. Barcelona good going forward. I think it's going to be a tight game. Barcelona well good going forward. A wee bit vulnerable at the back.
So what time's kick off for this one?
It's 3:15, I think.
Oh, it's quite early then.
It's early-ish on Sunday.
Right.
So it's certainly, so you'll be able to watch Hearts Celtic, get your feast of football. Unless, of course, for Rangers punters who are going to Ibrox, although I don't think many are.
Maybe El Clasico.
Rangers Kilmarnock or El Clasico. That's the choice Rangers fans have got.
There might be a few.
It'll only be the diehards that go to Ibrox.
Choosing to stay on the couch, like you say. But mind you, if I spent all day lying on the couch, I think the only nailed on bet with me getting loved at the house. The bin bag at the door.
So what we'll do is we can double that bet. There you go. There's a $5 double. You're betting me 71 and then 91.
We need to get that one. But given our record and tips, and maybe we'll stick to ourselves.
And that will boost your hefty pay packet.
Well, I see I got a packet of digestive biscuits for this month's pay packet. So we're welcome.
You could pay Hamilton's fine and have change left over.
I can't afford bus fare to Hamilton, and I live that near there. Anyway, we're going to hop on the bus and get to the bookies and fill our boots for the weekend. As always, listen, thanks for watching. You can catch us in all the usual streams, your YouTube, Facebook, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, nailed to a tree in the park, under the bushes, you name it. But yeah, as I say, thanks for watching. We'll be back next week for more of the same old nonsense. Catch you then.
Thanks, Michael.